One of the things I most love about my job is when we travel and I get to spend time with the staff, crew of the resorts and ships we visit. This is part one of a two-part series where I'm going to take you on a behind the scenes look at the wonderful staff and crew aboard Silverseas Silver Shadow. Having met and spent time with this dedicated group of individuals, I think you're going to agree with me that they are truly the heart and soul of the ship, and in large part are responsible for the success of Silversea and the reason that people come back to Silversea time and time again. Stay tuned.
Well, here we are aboard the beautiful Silver Shadow with RTE-Travel Talk, and I have two very special guests today to explain some of the wonderful Silversea experience that we're enjoying on board, and they are Craig and Anil. And perhaps, Craig, I will get you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yes. As Ken said, my name's Craig. I'm the hotel director on board here, the Silver Shadow. Been in the industry now since I was 16, 17 years old in the hospitality industry, but actually I'm quite new to the cruise in industry. Only 7 years actually on board ships. But as a hotelier, I've been almost, since I was 16, 17 years as a hotelier.
Oh, fantastic. And what about yourself, Anil?
As Ken just mentioned, my name is Anil. I'm the food and beverage manager on board here, the beautiful Silver Shadow. I've been little more than 25 years now at sea. Started my career back home, went to hotel school, trained to be a chef, traveled the world, worked for a lot of good chefs. Ended up with cruise lines, and last 25 years I worked for cruise lines on a ship size somewhere between 200 and all the way up to 5,000. Like Craig, I too joined Silversea this year. What I like most about Silversea is the intimacy and also the product they offer to our guests. It's really, really, really world class. And we are here to serve our guests the best way what we can.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do, Craig. What on a day-to-day basis, what is your role as a hotel manager?
Well, I do. So of course, hotel director on board looks after all of the departments, anything from the Shorex, the excursion department. Of course, I look after Mr. Neil and the food and beverage operation. Look after the future cruise, where you can go to book another cruise while you're on board with us. I also look after all the entertainment on board, the cruise director, the amazing shows that we have down in the show lounge. I oversee this side of the operation. Also, I oversee the reception area, so that you got somewhere to go to if you need anything and any questions, and the great team there at reception desk will support you. And liaise a lot with the captain as well to make sure that the well-being of the guests and make sure they have a great time on board and a great memory. That's what we want to do, right, is create great memories for the guests.
So really, when it comes to the experience for the guests on board, the major responsibility would rely on the both of you.
Correct, yes, yeah. We have to work very closely with each other, Right. Anil has to be in my pocket. I have to be in Anil's pocket to keep this beast keep going. But no, it's a great product, like Anil said. A lot is going on around the ships. Lots of entertainment, lots of events. Lots of different food concepts to keep the passengers busy, keep them occupied, and to give them that experience. But the day-to-day job, in the morning I might check my emails very fast. Then I walk around the whole ship, make sure that everything is in order, things are open when they should be. Cleanliness is up to standard on board, because also I look after all the rooms division, all the suites as well, all the public spaces, the cleanliness of the ship. And so I do a walk around, speak to guests as I walk around, say good morning, how are you? Just have a general chat to the guests. And this is the difference with Silversea,
right?
Is that we really have a personable service, and I get to meet the guests on board this lovely ship, which has roughly 388 guests on board. I've also worked for super ships where you have 5,500. And of course, you don't get the time to really meet the guests on these ships. But this smaller ships of Silversea, you do get the time to sit with them, dine with them, and just have a general chat and get them to enjoy their vacation with us.
And what we've seen over the run of days that we've been on board so far, that's really true, because you'll see a lot of the crew members interacting with the guests, and it just adds to the experience and adds to those special memories on board.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So how does one aspire to be a hotel director? What's your background?
Oh, my background. Well, there's a story for you.
Okay.
I will say, when I was 16, 17 years old, my goal was to go into computing and IT. This was my goal when I was a young lad, I would say. And I was studying in my A levels, mathematics, computing, and economics to go into this career. While I was studying, like anybody, I had to get a side job to earn a bit of cash to keep me going. And so I started off as a dishwasher or a utility. It has both of these names. The person that washes everything down in the galleys. So this is my very first job in the hotel industry. And then while I was doing this, still doing my A-levels, I kept jumping actually from utility. I went to front of house as a waiter, then I became a supervisor, and actually I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being around people, I enjoyed talking to people, and I enjoyed, people smiling and having fun and creating the memories for people. And then I just stayed in the industry. Even though I had a good A-levels, I just stayed in the industry, kept growing my career, and then running, large resorts, large golf resorts in the UK. I've looked after 5-star resorts, and then jumped over, because I've always wanted to travel the world and be on ships, always wanted to. But I never had something in me to make the jump from land hotels to sea ships.
Yeah.
And then, 7-8 years ago is when I made that jump, and not turned back since. I love it.
Oh, fantastic. Now, the Silver Shadow herself, I believe she was launched in '99.
Correct, yes.
Had a refurbishment in 2019. The ship is absolutely gorgeous, gentlemen, and there's just not a thing out of place. It's just spotless.
Yes, no, it is.
Love the atmosphere. Was there anything that may have went into the design of it that you'd like to highlight?
The design has just changed from, they want to keep it boutique style, clean, simple product. Of course, when doing a design of any ship and changing it and we call it a soft refurb. Right. So we just changed the refurbishment internally. So the ship being 23 years old, if you look at the old parts of the ship, you'll still see the 23-year-old ship. But the public areas, they want to make them peaceful, relaxing. As you know, Ken, there's lots of public space on board the ship.
Yes.
So enough where you can go away and you can't even find the guests sometimes, because the ship is big enough to, move the guest around and make them feel like it's a luxury yacht for them almost. And that's how they design the spaces, where they're open, lots of light comes in, good meeting points for the guests, places where you can just sit, relax, talk about your day, what you've done on your excursions, and this is the concept that they went with.
And a good example of that is actually where we're sitting here today in the observation lounge. Beautiful spot just to sit back and enjoy, and
you can see the whole world from here as well.
Exactly. And as you said, if you want it to be at certain times of the day, it's your own private ship.
Exactly. Yes. No. Agree.
Yeah. So Anil, tell us a little bit about the dining options and cuisine on board.
It's a culinary journey what you start from when you embark on board any Silversea ship. On board the Silver Shadow, as you said, it's a 23-year-old ship. We realistically have 5 different dining options. The latest being the Arts Cafe or the Atrium Cafe on the ship, which, as Craig just mentioned, has been added in 2019 when we did the soft refurb of the ship. So the main restaurant, it's pretty much same. The newer ships, it's renamed and called as Atlantis. But the main restaurant pretty much opens for breakfast, lunch, and dinner a la carte. Most of our guests love it, specifically on the formal nights. We have La Terrazza, which is actually our buffet for the breakfast and lunch. Very intimate. We have a lot of indoor and outdoor alfresco seating as well. And this turns into a traditional Italian restaurant for every dinner. Then we have the all-time favorite, pretty much on every ship, is the Hot Rocks, which is by the pool, on the pool grill, where you get to choose your kind of meat or fish. What do you want? A fish of the day, which is fresh, where we go into the ports and we pick up, and you get to cook your own way, your style, and have it. Then we also have La Dame. La Dame is our traditional French restaurant. Actually is an experience what you really have to know it. There's a little supplement charge on it, but every penny is worth it for the experience what you're going to have at La Dame. And as well, as I said about the Arts Cafe, Arts Cafe is actually the heart. It's in the heart of the ship. It's by the reception, or in center of deck 5 by the reception area, where actually we serve a lot of little bits. The menu kind of changes every 3-4 hours. You get something for the breakfast. If you miss breakfast, you get something either pre-lunch if you're heading out for a shore excursion, or if you tend to come back late from shore ex, you always get to go there and have a little bite. And in the evening, we serve a lot of hors or canapes down there. And also, if you miss or want to have a light dinner, you can get many options, even for the healthier options these days.
So we've got the restaurant, La Terrazza, the grill,
the Hot Rocks or the grill,
Hot Rocks, the grill, La Dame,
and Arts Cafe.
Arts Cafe, yeah. And the Arts Cafe is in the heart of the ship, on deck 5. And the one thing that I've noticed about that, we have a wide variety of guests on board. And I've noticed quite a few of our British friends taking tea at a certain time of day there.
Yes.
So it works out really, really well. And it's a comfortable place.
Absolutely. And as you've seen, it stays pretty full all the time, during the day, during the evening, no matter what time you go. And the best part is Arts Cafe stays open from 6 a.m. in the morning until 10 in the evening.
And just something else to add, Ken, with all these dining options we have, there is also 24-hour in-room dining. So any time of the day, you can pick up and order a filet mignon at 2 in the morning if you wish. So 24 hours a day, call room service, and the menu is very extensive for in-room dining as well. So that's another option. So you can get fed completely day and night.
That's not good for me, fellas. But it's actually quite amazing for the size of the ship and the complement of passengers on board that you have so many
Such a big offering. Yeah.
available. It's wonderful. And that's unique across pretty much all of the Silversea ships, as I understand.
Yes,
Except for the
actually,
Expedition.
when you get to the newer ships, actually, you're much more dining options.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We have, depends on which ship you go. We have either Indochine or, Asian restaurant on one of the ships. We have a proper pizza place on the newer ships. So, as you go along, there's only, much more options. On the Dawn or now Nova, we also have S.A.L.T concept, which you're aware, which is actually every port we go on to, we pick up fresh ingredients, and actually you get to go out with the chef to do little shopping as well. We come back on board and the menu is created for that region of that day.
So, Anil, tell me a little bit more about S.A.L.T. That's sea, land,
Sea and land taste.
sea and land taste.
Yeah, it's an experience by itself. The concept has been started now on the new ships, on the Muse, on the Dawn, on the Moon, as well as the Nova. It's very well received by the guests, as we spoke about. There's a S.A.L.T lab where you can sign up for the cooking classes. There's a S.A.L.T bar where a lot of infusion happens, and the bartender tends to, or the sommelier or mixologist tends to teach you the drinks of the region. And of course, there's a full restaurant or the S.A.L.T kitchen where you can actually, as I said, you go out a day with the shopping with the chef, you pick up new of the ingredients specific to that region, specific to that port, and actually a dinner is designed and served for that port on a daily basis.
Okay. So you really get to experience the flavors of the various areas
Of the local region and local port of
that
the
you're
day.
visiting.
Very
Wonderful. What about for guests coming on board that may have food allergies or need a special menu, Anil? How do you handle that?
With this ever-evolving world these days, the special diet needs is a big thing. And we do at Silverseas take a lot of pride to look after these guests in the best possible way what we can. Prior to guests come on board, they have an option of alerting us or letting us know the special diet, what they have, or what kind of allergens or what the guest is preferring to have it. Then once, of course, the guests who didn't had this opportunity of letting us know, what we also do is on the first day of the cruise, straight after the boat drill is finished, we do have a diet meeting which is hosted by our executive chef and our restaurant manager, where the guests have an option of meeting the chef and letting them know personally what diet restrictions they have. And our chefs takes a lot of pride to prepare the food the way they want them or the guest wants it. Now, when it comes to this special diet needs, a lot of care is taken, not just serving the food, but also how we prepare the food in the back end.
Right.
A lot of times what happens is there is a danger of cross-contamination happening. And this is why the chefs takes a lot of pride when they're preparing the food to ensure that every dish prepared the way it meant to be without having the cross-contamination. For example, you may have a nut allergy and you wanted a certain dish without the nuts. There can be a chef preparing several dishes at the same time, certain thing having with the nuts, unknowingly probably handling two dishes at the same time and having a cross-contamination. And this is the biggest thing, So we really, really ensure that we take pride and care when we're preparing the dishes for this special diet need.
Oh, fantastic. Technology on board.
Yes, of course, these days everyone wants to keep in touch with their family and friends, and and sometimes check the news or not check the news, I would say. So we do have our Elon Musk Starlink project on board the Shadow.
Okay.
Which means you can connect one device per person, which is all included, because again, Silversea is an inclusive product, so everything you pay for, it's all included. So one device per person. And yes, you can use this, of course, to FaceTime, WhatsApp, speak to family or friends and catch up with your loved ones back at home.
With Starlink on board, they can expect the same internet.
Almost kind of you're at home.
Yeah.
Very similar. It's very, very fast. Yeah.
So one of the most favorite places on board a lot of the cruise ships that we've been on is your spa and spa services. Tell us a little bit about that, Craig.
So we do have a spa on board called Zagara. So this is on deck 10, so the same deck as we're on now at the moment. And it's located at the forward, at the front of the ship. So Zagara Spa, we offer senses treatments, massages. We have a weight loss program, a detox program. We have training. We have a salon on board, manicure, pedicures we can do. We have a foot spa on board as well. Even in the male and female changing rooms, there's a private sauna and steam room. We also have a gym on board for those that want to keep fit. And we have an aerobics room. We do aerobics classes, fitness training. So it's quite extensive, the offering we have. And yeah, just relax and get pampered. And that's exactly what Zagara is.
What about the entertainment on board, Craig?
Entertainment, quite an extensive team. The Shadow, 196 suites on board, maximum 388 guests. So we have one show lounge that can seat all of these guests if needed to. So the entertainment on board we have for the guests, we have our main live shows that we do once a day. Either the show will be hosted around the pool deck on deck 8, or we do the main show down on deck 6 in the theatre. So one show a day, normally 9 o'clock these shows are, depending on the port days. So alongside the shows we have, they're all in-house shows. As you've seen, they are great entertainment, great singers on board, and the shows are not to be missed. And then during the daytime, we do other activities, fun things, maybe table tennis, maybe some crazy golf, maybe shuffleboard competition. So we do lots of things throughout the day as well. Lots of things to keep the guests busy on board.
As well, we have band trio usually playing on sea days on the pool deck, or they're entertaining us during pre-cocktail or after dinner drinks. We have a pianist who's usually playing in one of our bars, for the cocktail hours, and also we have a guitarist playing as well in one of the lounges. So it's quite a good variety of entertainment as well we have to offer on board.
Why should our viewers, in your opinion, Craig, choose Silversea? One thing that I've noticed is there's a tremendous amount of loyal returning guests. What keeps folks coming back time and time again?
So as you mentioned, Ken, we have something called Venetian. Guests that are returning all the time, they come under a Venetian Society. We don't call them repeating guests. We have a society for the returning guests that come back. And as your question said, why do they come back? First of all is the crew. I've worked in some of the best luxury ships, the most best luxury resorts.
Right.
And something I always say all of my career is these buildings, these ships, they look beautiful, they cost millions of pounds, but the ship does not talk to you actually. It's us, the crew inside the ship, that actually creates the experience on board. The crew on board Silversea in general across the whole fleet, they are very personable. They will always help as much as they can. They want to have a chat to you. So they like to get to know you, where you're from, what you've done in your career, and they treat you like family on board, especially the Shadow, because it's a more smaller, humble, personable ship. But it's all to do with the crew. Without crew really make the experience for you. And this is why the guests come back all the time.
Right.
Of course, the food, the standard of the suites we have, the suites are very large. These are kind of the add-ons as well.
Now, speaking of the suites, all of the rooms are all suites.
Correct, yes, yeah.
And very good size, and butlers in every suite. What essentially is the role of the butler?
Anil, do you want to take it?
Anil?
Yeah, I can. Though butlers kind of report to the room divisions or housekeeping, they are very active when it comes within the F&B operations as well. Every suite, as you said, is covered by a butler section and a room steward section. So butlers are more active when it comes to personalization of the service, personalizing of your personal needs, where they go above and beyond to look after your needs.
And that again goes to creating those special onboard memories for your guests.
Absolutely. And of course, all these little things adds up to the complete experience what you as a guest get to enjoy on board.
And just to give you a small what the butlers, the services we do offer with Silversea, small things kind of like a shoe shining. Before you go to one of our formal nights, they will shine your shoes for you. We will press your shirts, press your suits. The butlers will help you do your bow ties, will help you tie up your the dresses for the ladies. So this is the amount of detail that they go into to really be very close to the guest and very personable.
Oh, fantastic. So what's your personal favorite place on board the Silver Shadow?
Oh, that's very tough, very tough. Depends what mood I'm in as well, If I want to get away quiet, then here in the observation lounge, especially when we're sailing, it's a very quiet area, library, and when you're sailing away, you just watch the world go by. Especially when we're going through, Panama Canal and under some lovely low bridges. It's very exciting to be here in the observation lounge. But then if I'm in the mood for a bit of, hustle bustle and a bit of liveliness, when we have the parties on the pool deck, the music in the main bar, it depends on the mood you're in.
What about you, Neil?
For me, it's very simple. During the day, if I'm not in a meeting with Craig or my team or in my office, I'm usually on the pool deck quite a lot. Then during the evenings, if I'm not in the restaurants or the galley, then I'm around in either Panorama Lounge or late night in the main bar. So we can look after the guests, and at the same time, we can have a good time as well together with the guests.
Oh, fantastic. What other offerings are on board, Craig?
So we do also have, going along, the entertainment, we've talked about all the fun side of things. We also have a casino on board.
Okay.
So a baby casino, but it does the purpose for the guest, They invest their money in the casino, I say. Not gamble, invest. Very important. We also have a boutique on board. Some lovely jewelry, watches, lovely clothing pieces we have down in the boutique as well.
Now, what I enjoyed about the boutique is quite often when you find on some of the larger mega ships, some of those ships, sometimes it's all about the boutique.
Yes, yeah.
But here on board Silver Shadow, it's kind of understated, fits in.
Yes, yeah. The boutique is located on deck 5 where the atrium is. So kind of the heart of the operation, like we said earlier. We're not pushy with sales. If you want something, we're there, we'll help you, we'll assist you, to purchase the item that you wish to have.
What does a typical Silversea guest look like?
It does change. So we've just brought the ship now from the New England, from New York, Canada to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And the demographic or the age range for that particular cruise was around 72. And now doing the Caribbean, the average age comes down. It does depend on the itinerary as to the demographic that we have. We do have mostly Americans on board these kind of waters.
Right.
And we do find a lot of UK also come over to get away from the cold in the UK. I know this time of year it is cold.
Well, being from the Great White North ourselves, that's exactly why we're here.
Yeah.
I have noticed that we have a fairly substantial contingent of our friends from the UK on board this one.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Probably would be because we're in and out of Bridgetown.
It's easy for them to fly from the UK one direct, and then we're doing the one tour Bridgetown to Bridgetown. For a UK guest, it's a perfect cruise.
And also when we look at our normal cruises, our large 4 top nationalities, we always have either Americans or UK at the top 2, 3, and we have Canadians and Australians. These are actually our top 4, nationalities apart from mainland Europe as well.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that we really haven't touched on is just how all-inclusive Silversea is.
Yes, yeah.
You really don't have to put your hand in your pocket for anything once you're on board, or for that matter, once you close the door to your house. Tell us a little bit about how all-inclusive it is, Craig.
So, really, all-inclusive, we do mean all-inclusive. We have an option called door-to-door,
right,
which means we can really get you from your front door, wherever you are from, and we get you to the ship, and then back home to your front door. So this is a service called door-to-door. Now, if you take the full inclusive door-to-door, then everything is included. All your food, excursions, for example. We don't just offer a city excursion, a walk-in excursion. We also offer you snorkeling. You could do a submarine, for example, now in the Caribbean. Boat tours, sunset tours you can do. So we don't just give you a basic excursion included. We really give you a wide range of excursions, let you get to see the local area. All food, all drink is included. The beverage offering on board is you can have some really high-end, champagne all the time. You can have caviar if you wish to. There's a lot that we do offer, which is classed as all-inclusive on board.
And you have a fairly extensive wine cellar.
Yes, we do. We do have quite large variety of wines. The sommelier, what he does is he picks a wine of the day, where he tend to change every meal or every day, and he pairs it with the food of whatever the chef's offering is. We have at least 20 grape varieties, or 20 different labels on red and white just for one particular cruise, which is complimentary. Apart from that, we also have some high-end vintage wines from really good estates. You can call it from Napa, from Bordeaux. We have some really good Sassicaia, Ornelia from Tuscany region. So we have pretty much everything for everyone on board.
Oh, fantastic. So, Craig, this is absolutely great information. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to convey to our viewers before we wrap up?
Well, no, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you have quite a big insight to Silversea, and you know we've told you a lot about the product, the offering. For me, as a hotel director, my crew are very important to me. This is how I guess we do so well at Silversea. It's all about the crew for me, being a hotel director. So no, hopefully, yeah, we get to see some of the viewers here on board one of our lovely ships. So we have 12 in the fleet now, and we have another one coming out next year called the Silver Ray. Next June or July, this should be launched, and we're going to have some more coming out 2 or 3 years after that as well. So if you like your luxury, you know, being pampered, being looked after, not putting your hand in the pocket once on board, then this is a place to come to.
Hearing is one thing and seeing is what you believe. And all I can say to our guests is whatever we say, you can only enjoy it when you come and see it firsthand by yourself. All I can say is come enjoy with us on board the Silversea.
And with that, gentlemen, I'm just going to wish you safe and happy travels on all your future cruises and destinations that you visit. May the wind always be at your back for you and your guests on board this beautiful ship, and I hope to see you around the ship and on the Lido deck soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Take care.
And that about wraps up part one of our two-part series behind the scenes at Silversea. Many thanks to Craig and Anil of Silversea Cruises. I will leave a link in the description for part two of the series when it's published. If you would like more information about a Silversea cruise, you can visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, to find a travel advisor near you. If you have a question or a suggestion for a future segment or interview, simply send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com. And as always, folks, if you enjoy this content, a like, subscribe, share, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels.